So hey guys, back for part two. Just gonna finish this up. So yeah, Orton he just books it to the back, um, just sprints to the back throughout the backstage area, and runs up to the bus, kind of looks around for a little, and then gets taken out from behind by Punk. Punk comes in, hits him with a wrench, hits him right in the knee with a wrench, and he says, I bet your voices are telling you right now, those voices here in your head are telling you that you shouldn't have kicked, McGillicuddy, Otunga, Harris, and Mason Ryan. Actually, he didn't even mention Husky Harris. I thought that was kind of weird, too. Um, you get the gist of what I'm saying, though. And then he says, or he looks at Punk's, or Orton's wife. I don't know if it was his actual wife. I wasn't sure. I think it may have been. If I'll look it up after, but if it was, well, I already know Orton's got a beautiful wife. Because this woman was hot. It may have actually been his wife. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Just like that segment with he and Triple H back in '09 before WrestleMania, where Triple H broke into Orton's house. That wasn't his wife then, but so I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't his wife either. But regardless, the woman was hot. But so yeah, Punk, the chick's like, "Stop it," and Punk's like, "Shut up." That's pretty funny. Um, he stomps Orton in the head, kind of kicks him in the head a little bit, um, and then blows a kiss to Orton's wife, like through the or mirror window, and then Punk leaves, and she comes out and says, "Can we get some help or whatever?" And yeah, so that was a good little segment. And yeah, so we go to commercial. And then back from commercial, Alex Riley is in the ring and he says a bunch of stuff. I really could care less about this man. I really could. He's a joke. He's like, a few weeks ago I was fired by Miz, or as Miz's assistant or whatever, but I've been rehired as like vice president of corporate communications, whatever the hell that means. Just stick to being a jobber. It's what you do best. Um, so then Miz talks about he can talk on the mic, Alex Riley. I'll give him that. But he still sucks. And then so he introduces, he says some stuff, then introduces Miz, and out comes the champ. And Miz walks out without the WWE title. And by the way, in the ring, it was red carpet and a podium, some covering what I was assuming was the championship. And I was like, are we gonna get a new championship here, like a new belt design? Maybe go back to like the WWE title belt. Um, Miz talks about how he imitated The Rock last week, how no one's ever done it like that, and how he talks about having more charisma than Shawn Michaels, being more dominant than Andre the Giant, and how he's more intelligent than Cena and The Rock combined. He says he is the greatest WWE champion in history, this company's history, and he says since day one, he's flipped the WWE upside down since day one. Um, and since day one, and he then flips the WWE logo on the microphone upside down so that it looks like an M for Miz. Then he says it's time to rewrite history, and the lights go out for a second. Yeah, like I said, the spotlight was on this thing covered on the table. I was like, we might actually maybe a new title belt. Miz will bring it back to the old WWE title from like the undisputed title and then they made it to the WWE title like 02, 03, and 04. Up to 05 when Cena changed it, that belt won on SmackDown. But granted, they drum roll, and then the Miz takes the cover off, and granted, it's the same title, just with the apparently the middle part doesn't even spin anymore. Um, I was listening to a radio interview Miz had in Pittsburgh this morning where he talked about that. But yeah, basically the title is the same except the W was in the middle was permanently turned upside down for M for Miz. How clever, Miz. So yeah, and so Miz puts the title on, then Cena appears on the Tron, starts clapping. He's like, haha. Basically says, he's like, I know I'm not invincible. It's like, oh, really, Cena? Surprised to hear you say that. And then Cena says, you two made the wrong person angry. And I was just waiting for him to say, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. But basically, then we're seeing see a couple of guys in the background taking apart the set, like revealing that he's actually in Pittsburgh. You see the Penguins like wallpaper in the locker room or whatever, and uh, And yeah, so Cena says, "Oh, I'm here," or whatever, and this is the WWE is for the last 9 years. The WWE has been my home, and you guys are standing in my living room, and it's time to take out the trash. Um, so then Cena leaves the room he was in, and that's another thing. This crowd also tonight was weak as hell, man. I don't know what has been up with these crowds lately, but you'd think like WrestleMania is coming up. That's why next week I'm hoping to go home Raw, but right before WrestleMania in Chicago, that place, Allstate Arena. I hope that place is just on fire, just electric all night. Better be with The Rock will be in town. Jeez, but yeah, this crowd again just it seemed dead. Like even Cena when they showed him up on the Titantron didn't even get a big pop, and that was really weird. And even when he came out, it wasn't really fans going crazy. Like you said, you heard Cena sucks chants earlier, but it's actually nice to hear. I could hear those Cena sucks chants more clearly than I heard cheers for Cena tonight. So yeah, that was cool for once, I guess. But anyway, so Cena, not a surprise. He was in Pittsburgh the whole time. So he comes out, and at the top of the ramp, when he looks into the camera, he says, oh, "No view satellite. I bring it live." Obviously, cheap shot at The Rock. Then he hits the ring. Miz just bounces right away, and he puts or basically it's a two. They beat him down for a little 2-on-1. Then Cena gets upper hand. Miz bounces. Cena locks in the STFU on Riley, and then he's tapping out, and referees are trying to break it up, and Cena then puts it in, locks it in on him again, and just really has it, cinched. And Cena's arms are huge. When they showed close up, Riley's face almost turned purple. Cena, man, he is jacked. Um, so yeah, locks it in, and basically it was just a bad. Not even because it was Cena. Just the ending for Raw wasn't really great. I thought it was pretty lame. Not lame. I thought it was just bad overall. The ending. So Raw ends with Cena standing tall over like Alex Riley and posing like flexing for the crowd. Cena was already or Miz was already in the back. So like I said, overall, this Raw was mediocre at best. You know, not. It's really been the last few weeks just more build up than actual wrestling on Raw. So for WrestleMania, so. But I'm happy, Sheamus Daniel Bryan looks like that'll finally be a match at WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to next week's Raw from Chicago. The Rock and Cena face to face finally, and The Miz probably. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that confrontation, big time. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed Raw tonight. Like I said, it wasn't the best, but obviously it wasn't the worst Raw I've seen. So yeah, it was mediocre. But so comment on Raw. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if for those of you who haven't, and um, for those of you who haven't, check out my question and answer video I did earlier today. Um, and I answered your questions, obviously. So for those of you sent me them. So yeah, comment, subscribe, guys, and see, was I missing anything on Raw? Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And yeah, have a good night. I'm out. Peace.